Two-hand tapping. Here we go. So there are three main elements to this little piece of tuition, this exercise. One is the technique of two-handed tapping itself, which is a great technique to throw in, so long as it's used sensibly. It's a brilliant technique, it's quite flash. Two is the fact that this exercise is an arpeggio exercise. It's based on arpeggios. If you don't know what an arpeggio is, I'll probably do another video on it, but essentially an arpeggio is the notes of a chord played one by one. So that brings me to the third element of this exercise, is that it is meant to coincide with a backing track that I've already put on YouTube recently in order to maximize your practice time. So it's great to solo against these backings, but it's even better if you've got set exercises that you can throw in to improve certain aspects of your playing. I'm going to show you how to two-handed tap. I'm going to tell you a little bit about arpeggios, and it's going to be something that you can do while you're soloing along with a specific backing track that I'll give to you. Okay, so a couple of quick points before we start. I've got my guitar set up clean to start off with so that you can hear what's going on, but two-handed tapping does lend itself nicely to a bit of distortion because the natural sustain on the guitar makes it easier, and you don't have to work so hard to keep the strings ringing. Another thing is I'm going to be telling you to tap on the tip of your finger. If like me you've got nails on your picking hand because you play classical and fingerstyle, you might have to angle the finger very slightly so that you are tapping still on the fleshy tip of the finger and avoiding the nail. And another thing, if your guitar has got a high action, you're going to find this quite difficult. A high action is where the strings are quite a long way up off the fingerboard. If you've got a nice electric guitar with light strings that are close to the fingerboard, it's a lot easier to tap and make notes sound. You can do two-handed tapping on an acoustic, but it's hard work. So with that said, let's get on and start the first arpeggio. Okay, so for the first part of this exercise, you're going to take the first finger of your left hand, or your normal fretting hand, and you're going to place it on the tip of the finger just behind the 5th fret on the 2nd string. So you're pressing the string down at the 5th fret on the 2nd string. Then you're going to take the first finger of your right hand, or your normal plucking hand, and you're going to bring the tip down. You're going to tap hard behind the 12th fret. That's going to give you your first note. It's fine when you're tapping to just support the hand by lightly resting the thumb and fingers on the outside edges of the guitar neck as you tap. So after you've tapped on at the 12th fret, the next maneuver is that this finger, the tapping finger, essentially releases the string from underneath it. Essentially you're plucking the string with this finger, pulling off to this note. So you've tapped on at the 12th fret, creating the B. You let the string pass underneath it by just pulling your finger up along the fingerboard. By the way, you will see people teaching you this technique to go this way off the fingerboard. Can also work, but it's slightly counterintuitive because this is the way the finger bends. If you want to be able to do this fast and fluently later on, you really want the finger to be doing it as the way the natural joints of the finger move. So we've tapped on at the 12th fret, we've pulled off to the 5th fret. The next maneuver is for the little finger of the left hand, this hand, to just tap on hard, to hammer on just behind the 8th fret. So we've got a tap on at the 12th. We're pulling off to the first finger at the 5th fret, and we're hammering on with the little finger to the 8th fret. B, E, G, B, E, G. Those three notes, E, G, and B, are the three notes in an E minor chord. You're essentially playing an E minor arpeggio. Okay, so you can play your E minor arpeggio tapped. To move from an E minor to a C major, I'll just put a little bit of effect on the guitar. To move from an E minor to a C major, you just have to move the first finger of the right hand up 1 fret. So you're now tapping on the 13th fret. The first finger of the left hand stays at the 5th fret, and you're still going to be tapping onto the 8th fret. That's because C major has the notes C, E and G, and an E minor has the notes E, G and B. So the E and the G are the same between the two. You've just got to move that B from a C, so it's just the first finger moving up 1 fret. So we've got E minor and C 1 fret up. And if C is there, then D major, which is the next chord you're going to want, is just going to be all up 2 frets. That's the most difficult maneuver because both hands have to move up 2 frets at once. But you've got this E minor, C, 1 finger moving up, both hands move up 2 frets for the D. E minor, C major, D major. I'm just going to show you that from different angles with distortion now and the backing track, and we're done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the tapping exercise. I hope you've got something out of it. If you'd like to practice the exercise against the backing track, the link should be in the description below. I hope to be producing a lot more backing tracks and with associated exercises, so if you'd like to subscribe, that would be so good. And what I'd really like to do is produce a lot of content that I think is important, kind of my life's work really, and I can't do that until I know that I've got an audience that will notice it. So if you subscribe, that just helps me achieve that goal. I've got nothing to sell. There's a little bit about me in a channel trailer that I produced a few days ago. It's on my channel. You click on that video. It's a terrible video, like I say, I'm new, but it's got a little bit of insight about who I am and maybe how I can help you. Please put any comments below. I will read them, and if you can hit like, that would be great. Thank you.